So as we speak, dialogue is underway between the government and the CJP representatives at the Constitution Club. And at the same time, government trying to reach out to the youth of the country, giving assurances that they are concerned about the welfare and the future of the youth. The Prime Minister, in a midnight message, doubled down on that assurance coming in from him, from the government of India, saying that they are willing to ensure. Okay, I'm given to understand that proceedings are underway at the upper house. We are cutting live.
The most important sentence, it suppresses the crucial constitutional context in which the statement was made. Therefore, not a constitutional provision, not a resolution, not even an assembly decision. Parliament cannot elevate a presidential statement into constitutional test 76 years later.
Thank you.
It will, sir, 30 seconds. It will, in fact, dishonor the decision of the Constitutional Assembly and framers of the Constitution. The Constituent Assembly, after nearly 3 years of exhaustive deliberation, consciously refrained from placing national song and national anthem on the same constitutional footing. Had the framers intended both to enjoy identical legal consequences, they would have expressed.
Thank you.
So provided. So my contention is that they cannot manufacture patriotism and nationalism through a piece of legislation. Their intention is to polarize the society.
Thank you.
They should
No, it's over. Sir, you have taken more time. Shriman Santosh Kumar P. Shriman Santosh Kumar P.
Sir, the intention is very clear at this point of time. This is to distract the public attention from the ongoing student agitation demanding Mr. Dharmendra Pradhan's resignation.
You have to speak on the subject. Please.
So the intention is very clear. Sir, the core point is that Vande Mataram should unite Indians, it should not divide us. And the leaders of India's freedom movement, including Rabindranath Tagore, had understood this. That is why it was confined to 2 stanzas only. These people who betrayed India's freedom movement,
confine yourself to you are opposing the bill. It's introduction.
I am fine. No. Those people who had betrayed India. I am coming to the point. No. Yes, those people who had betrayed India's freedom movement.
I'll move. No. You speak on the objections at this stage.
Sir, the point is that now let me tell you, they're manufacturing, Sir, I love Vande Mataram, but I oppose this because they are purposefully manufacturing a division between Rabindranath Tagore and Bankim Chandra Chatterjee.
Thank you. Thank you, Honorable Minister. Okay. You want to say something?
मैं स्पष्ट रूप से कहना चाहता हूँ कि यह हमारे विपक्ष के विकास और जो भी विरोध कर रहे हैं वो गुमराह कर रहे हैं। 24 जनवरी 1950 को माननीय डॉक्टर राजेंद्र प्रसाद जी ने कहा था कि राष्ट्रीय जनगणमन के सम्मान ही सम्मान दिया जाएगा। राष्ट्रीय गान, राष्ट्रीय गीत को वितरित और यह गुमराह कर रहे हैं। इसे मैं अनुरोध करता हूँ कि
Thank you. Now the question is that the leave be granted to introduce the bill. Those in favor will please say aye. Those against will please say no. I think the ayes have it. Shri Nityanand Rai.
माननीय महोदय, मैं विधेयक प्रस्थापित करता हूँ।
You introduce the bill. Thank you. माननीय सदस्यगण, कृपया अपनी जगह बैठे, बहस चलने दें. Please, the House stands adjourned to meet at 11 a.m. on Monday, the 27th July 2026.
All right, so Rajya Sabha has been adjourned till 11 a.m. on Monday amid ruckus and sloganeering. You heard some members in Rajya Sabha presenting their point of view as far as the Vande Mataram bill is concerned. At the moment, the proceedings have been adjourned. Now, let's take you back to the big story that we were talking about. Now, how is the government planning to resolve this issue? What is the solution? So for that, let me take you through the action plan as far as the government is concerned. Number one, fast-track courts would be established. The goal here is to ensure that there are day-to-day hearings that take place in the paper leak case. Number two, Delhi High Court has in fact set up fast-track court. It has formed a special fast-track court. On the other hand, the cabinet will also discuss ways and means to tighten the norms when it comes to the Unfair Means Act. Remember, Prime Minister Narendra Modi as well, after a post on fast-track courts, released a video message. And in that particular midnight message, the Prime Minister gave an assurance that the laws would be made tougher. And Education Secretary has been shunted out. These are the measures that have been taken till now so far. Let me also get you some exclusive details as far as the government's big move is concerned, the action plan is concerned. And this is what we have been given to understand. As far as the Unfair Means Act is concerned, there's going to be a complete overhaul. So what kind of changes are we looking at? Sweeping changes when it comes to the punishment term. So this is what we're given to understand. The existing 3 to 5 year jail term and 10 lakh fine cap will see changes. The proposed amendment will also introduce fast-track courts for paper leak cases. Sources say Department of Personnel and Training has prepared the draft, which is expected to be placed before the cabinet today. So first there'll be a discussion in the cabinet meeting, during the cabinet meeting, on how to toughen these laws, and then on Monday this will be tabled in Parliament. Let's go across to Pragya, who's getting us more details. Pragya, sweeping changes is what I'm given to understand as far as the Unfair Means Act is concerned, to toughen the laws, to ensure that there's strict punishment to people, culprits who indulge in paper leak. And after a discussion in the cabinet meeting, it will be tabled in the Parliament.
Absolutely. In fact, the government has also made it very clear that there is no tolerance policy as far as paper leaks are concerned, and this is exactly the reason why in 2024, Prime Minister Narendra Modi's government has brought in this Public Examination Prevention of Unfair Means Act. In fact, this has a very stringent punishment and fines also, but it is to be made more stringent. There are more steeper financial implications for those who are convicted. And we are also given to understand that this bill is going to be presented by the DOPT. Contours of bill are already being discussed in the cabinet as it is going on right now. The one addition to this particular existing bill is that there will be fast-track courts for paper leaks and strictest of punishment for that. One judge has already been announced last night, and in fact, Prime Minister himself has said that this is the main agenda of Parliament today, of the Cabinet today. And in fact,
but the big question is, are those assurances working? This is the big action plan of the government, the next big move to tighten those norms, to set up fast-track courts. But are those assurances working? That's the big question. Let me go across to Mohit for that. As we speak, Mohit, there's a conversation, a dialogue happening between the government and the CJP representatives, who till now have said that they are adamant that Dharmendra Pradhan should resign. That has been reiterated by the opposition as well. The government, on the other hand, taking multiple measures. Is that going to work? Is that what the protesters want, the students want? That's the big question, isn't it?
Well, Swati, in fact, right now we are reporting from Constitution Club, and VP House is just adjacent to the Constitution Club. You can see the carcade of Union Minister JP Nadda, and we know for a fact that how exactly this meeting as of now is going on. Now, we know for a fact that how the Prime Minister himself has extended an olive branch towards the protesters, saying that there will be a new bill that will be introduced, which will have stricter provisions for the people who are accused in the paper leaks. They will be given stricter of punishment. But the opposition parties and the Cockroach Janata Party have clearly stated that they want resignation of Dharmendra Pradhan, and perhaps that is why the House, as soon as it got convened for the day, was adjourned multiple times, and now both the houses have been adjourned till tomorrow. We also know for a fact that how exactly the government have also stated that there will be no strict action taken against the people who were protesting peacefully, and also the government is also thinking about apt compensation for the families of those who committed suicide after NEET paper got leaked and it got cancelled subsequently. So this is a very important meeting, Swati. Now why? Because the opposition parties, they have been saying they want resignation of Dharmendra Pradhan. They do not want anything else, and after that they will indulge in debate. Now the government says that this is a flip-flop specifically by the Congress party, that first they wanted a debate. When the government is ready, they are not doing it. Sonam Wangchuk, in all the demands he has made in front of the government before he broke his hunger strike, did not mention anything about resignation of Dharmendra Pradhan. Now if the government is able to convince the Cockroach Janata Party representatives that you accept our demand and end your dharna, then government will have an upper hand to attack the opposition, saying that they were just trying to mislead the nation just for their political purposes. Now the government has come with a proposal over here.
Till now, the statements that have come in from the CJP representatives is that they are adamant on their demand that Dharmendra Pradhan must go, he should resign, and that for them is going to be the first big step towards resolving this issue. There are two meetings happening simultaneously, one between the government and the CJP representatives. The other one is the cabinet meeting which is taking place, a crucial meeting where there is going to be a discussion on that draft bill we were just talking about that aims to tighten the norms, to ensure stringent punishment to those who are involved in paper leak. And we have Bhavtosh and Hina both reporting from the Constitution Club. Let me go across to my colleagues. Bhavtosh, as far as that crucial meeting. Okay, I'm being told Hina is with us on the broadcast at the moment. Hina, as far as that meeting at the Constitution Club is concerned, that is going to decide the fate of the future course of action in terms of which direction the talks head and what's going to happen after that. Will the protests continue? Will CJP be convinced by the government? And all that depends on the outcome of this meeting.
Well, absolutely. And I'm coming to you live from outside the Constitutional Club of India, where I can see some activity also taking place. It seems maybe the meeting is getting over. Somebody might just come out. So let's just be very close to the gate here. But as you were saying, that this is a very, very important meeting that's currently underway between CJP representatives and the government representatives. This is the second round of talks that we are seeing happening between both the sides. Now, whether the CJP representatives, whether Cockroach Janata Party will accept what government has to offer, that remains to be seen. I would say that this meeting that's happening right behind me is going to be a make or break meeting as far as this entire movement is concerned. Like you correctly mentioned, either after this meeting we will see protests escalating, or we will see students, agreeing government has to offer and these protests getting over. So this meeting becomes extremely important. What is also important to note here is that as per sources, government has entered into this round of negotiations with an open mind. But we also know that CJP is adamant on one demand, and that is resignation of Dharmendra Pradhan as the education minister of this country. Even after Sonam Wangchuk, the mascot of this particular protest, ended his hunger strike this morning after 26 odd days, when CJP responded to him, it towards the end mentioned in that post on X that they still want resignation of Dharmendra Pradhan, the education minister. Whether the government is willing to accept this demand, it remains to be seen. Already we know that education secretary has been removed, and other measures are also being taken. There's a cabinet meeting that's simultaneously going on. And by the way, ahead of this meeting, JP Nadda and Dr. Jitendra Singh, both these union ministers, had a meeting with Home Minister Amit Shah as well. So maybe some direction has come from the top. We don't know what exactly has the government offered to CJP in this particular meeting. It has been going on for about 1 hour now. We'll have to wait and see how soon this meeting gets over, and its outcome is going to decide what happens in the national capital next.
One thing is clear. We don't know, yes, like you said, we don't know what is being offered to CJP, but one thing is clear through posts and through the Prime Minister's midnight message and the statements that are coming in from the top leaders of the government. They are trying to send out a message to the youth saying that we are concerned about reform, we are concerned about your future and your welfare, and that's the reason why, yes, this is an extraordinary challenge, like the Prime Minister said. Paper leak is an extraordinary challenge, but we are focusing on the core issue, and the core issue for the government is to ensure that it does not happen in the future, and if it does, then whoever is involved, that the culprits are punished, that the punishments are stringent. And for that very reason, we are looking at a draft bill which is going to be introduced in Parliament. So what is the aim here? And these are the exclusive details that we are getting for you on the draft bill as far as the Unfair Means Act is concerned. The exclusive detail is that this act is going to see a complete overhaul. There are going to be sweeping changes, and the core issue here is, as far as the draft bill is concerned, is to increase or toughen punishment. The current provision is 3 to 5 years of jail term and 10 lakh fine cap. That could be changed and increased. The proposed amendment will also introduce fast track courts, something that the Prime Minister spoke about in that post and then through the video message as well. So fast track courts will be set up that will conduct a day-to-day hearing in case of paper leak. So the government, one side, on one hand, holding these talks with the CJP representatives, on the other, taking these measures as well, so that it does not look like hollow words, it does not look like empty words. The government taking action. Opposition says that the first step to resolving this entire issue is to sack Mr. Dharmendra Pradhan, is to take his resignation. Once you do that, only then we will be convinced that, yes, you intend to resolve the issue. This is what CJP has been saying till now. That has been their line, that Dharmendra Pradhan has to be sacked first, and then the rest of the conversation can take place. But right now, as we speak, there's a dialogue happening between the government and the CJP representatives, and this is going to be crucial. The outcome of this particular meeting is going to decide what happens. Will the protest end? Will the protest continue? All of that depends on this meeting, which is underway. On the other hand, as far as Parliament is concerned, the proceedings there are concerned, 5 straight days were lost to disruptions that were witnessed in both houses, both the upper and the lower house. You heard Kiran Rijiju earlier, the Parliamentary Affairs Minister, who has been urging, appealing to the opposition, in a direct appeal, in fact, to Rahul Gandhi. He said the LOP should ask the Congress MPs to take part in a debate, take part in a discussion. Later, we saw how Rahul Gandhi outside the parliament said that they did not let me talk earlier. They snatched my mic. Now they want to have a discussion. But the government will have to meet our demands. 5 key demands. The opposition says, 1, you have to sack Dharmendra Pradhan, apologize to the students, take action against those who used brutal force on the students who were protesting. Once the government meets these demands, only then the opposition wants to have a dialogue. And this stand of the opposition versus government's appeal has led to a stormy session till now. 5 straight days, like I said, lost to disruptions that were witnessed. Only and only adjournments every hour. The moment the session starts, sloganeering begins in both the houses, both Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, and the very next minute, within a few minutes, the proceedings are adjourned. Let's take a look at the sequence, the ruckus and the appeals that were made.
सदस्यों की सभा को बैठकों से अनुपस्थित रहने की अनुमति प्रदान की जाए। क्या सभा समिति द्वारा की गई सिफारिश के अनुरूप अनुमति प्रदान करती है? यदि हाँ, सदस्यों को तदनुसार सूचित किया जाएगा। आइटम नंबर 7, श्री डॉक्टर अमर सिंह जी।
मैं राहुल गांधी जी से अनुरोध करता हूं, आप अपने कांग्रेस पार्टी के साथियों को तरह समझा दीजिए, और बाकी कई पार्टीज के एमपीज भी निजी तौर पर सबने अपना मत रखा है कि चर्चा होना चाहिए। मुझे ये समझ में नहीं आ रहा है कि आज 5वां दिन है, हम इसमें एक अच्छा सार्थक बहस क्यों नहीं कर सकते हैं? आप कंडीशन मत डालिए, हम चर्चा शुरू कर सकते हैं आज भी।
मेरी बात सुन ले, मैं दे रहा हूँ, मेरी बात सुन ले, मैं समय दे रहा हूँ। मेरी बात सुन ले राहुल जी। माननीय संसदीय कार्य मंत्री जी ने नेता प्रतिपक्ष का नाम लिया है, और उन्होंने आग्रह क्या किया है? उन्होंने आग्रह किया है कि आज जिस नीट की परीक्षा को लेकर के उस पर चर्चा आप चाहते हैं, उस पर सरकार ने क्या कार्रवाई की, यहाँ तक कि प्रधानमंत्री जी ने भी प्रधानमंत्री जी ने भी एक सख्त कानून बनाने की बात कही और आपने कैबिनेट की बात कही। तो उनका आग्रह है कि सदन में आप चर्चा चाहते हैं, सरकार चर्चा के लिए तैयार है, मेरी बात सुन लें, चर्चा के लिए तैयार है, तो आप उस चर्चा के लिए बिल्कुल सरकार की तरफ से अगर चर्चा तैयार है, चर्चा करने की बात है, तो मैं आप सबसे आई एम रिक्वेस्टिंग टू ऑल ऑफ यू काइंडली टेक योर सीट। मैं आप अपनी सीट पे जाएं, मैं राहुल जी को अलाउ करूंगा। आप काइंडली क्लियर द पैसेज, आप क्लियर कर दें।
And as we speak, there are these visuals now coming in. Remember, we told you about the meeting which is underway between the government and the representatives of the CJP. You have those visuals now. You can see JP Nadda along with Jitendra Singh and Saurav Das, Ashutosh Ranka, part of this meeting. CJP representatives meeting the government representatives to hold discussions on how to resolve this issue. Remember, CJP has made it clear that their demand is that Dharmendra Pradhan should be sacked. Now, whether the government is able to convince CJP to withdraw their protest, to end the protest and look forward to resolving this issue together remains to be seen. Will CJP be convinced? That we don't know that at this point of time. We'll wait, of course, for official word to come in from the government, from the CJP, to know what's transpiring. These are inside pictures and visuals of the meeting that took place between the centre and the CJP. I'm not a body language expert, but nothing seems off at the moment. When you look at the visuals, they are all smiles. At least Jitendra Singh is all smiles. So we'll wait for more inputs on what was discussed, which way the talks are headed now, what's going to happen after this. We did see them holding a piece of paper. Mohit, what are you picking up? What was that piece of paper that all four of them were holding? Was it a list of demands? Was it assurance in written? What was it?
Well, as of now, we don't know, Swati, that what exactly was that paper. Was it a proposal from the government side or the demands coming in from the CJP representatives? But yes, the visuals have come out, and this meeting is very, very important given the fact that our CJP representatives stated that they will not be meeting at any government office or residence of any minister, but in fact they will be meeting at a neutral venue. So while we speak, the meeting it seems has got concluded, but we do not have the official confirmation of that given the fact that how the visuals have come out. But what exactly would be the outcome of this meeting, that is very, very important. Now, if the CJP representatives agree to what the proposal has been coming in from the government, that means it would be a victory for the government, given the fact that how they can now go speak in the parliament and say, look, we spoke to the protesters, and then they have completely come on to our side. They have accepted our proposals, and opposition was always trying to mislead the nation. So shortly from now, what we can expect is that leaders will come out. This is the carcade of Union Minister JP Nadda and Jitendra Singh. But it will be very, very important, Swati, given the fact that our CJP has been demanding that there should be resignation of Dharmendra Pradhan, and after that only they will be calling off their protests, or they will be indulging
that
in a
was
debate.
their demand that they kept reiterating. Are they still sticking to their demand? We don't know at this point of time, but there are inside visuals that are coming in of the meeting. Let me go across to Sabyasachi. Sabyasachi, what are you picking up? And I'm asking a specific question about a piece of paper that we saw all four of them holding. Is that some assurance that has come in from the government, some proposal? Is that once again a list of demands from the CJP? And now that there already are cars parked outside of Constitution Club, is that an indication that the meeting has ended?
Well, that's right. See, what we are learning from the sources that the meeting most likely would have ended, but in fact the CJP, before they left for the meeting at the Constitution Club, they were pretty sure on their demand. They want the resignation of Dharmendra Pradhan, and that was the sticking point and the red line. And the CJP leader said that they won't compromise. Any discussion, any talks will happen until and unless the resignation of Dharmendra Pradhan takes place, and the government have said that we have our doors opened for the CJP leaders, and we are going to have the discussion with open minds without putting any terms and condition before the start of the meeting. So clearly this meeting becomes extremely crucial because the CJP is extremely adamant on the fact that they want the resignation of Dharmendra Pradhan. Until and unless it happens, their agitation in Jantar Mantar will go on, and so is the demand of the opposition parties. In fact, Rahul Gandhi today, when the session was going on, he also pointed out three demands. The first is a resignation of Dharmendra Pradhan. The second is the action against Delhi police who have taken action against the youth or the students. And the third is the drop of all the legal cases against the youth. So until and unless these three demands are done, the opposition say that we are not going to sit for any discussion or talks as far as the government is concerned.
Absolutely, but if the talks do work out, then the opposition has no other reason but to take part in the parliament session and discussion. Let me go across to Hina now. Hina, of course, we are waiting for the inside details now at this point of time to know what transpired in this meeting.
Yes, Swati, a quick update there. What you can see behind me is commotion because the meeting is over. Now the representatives from the government and CJP are coming out of Constitutional Club of India. Any moment now they are expected to come out, and then we'll get some clarity on what really happened in this particular meeting. I think it went on for a little over 1 hour. It started around 1:15 or so. And right now, what we can see in the visuals here is that leaders, are coming out of Constitutional Club of India. Any moment now, they're going to be out. You were talking about that piece of paper that we saw in the picture. Well, it could either be a set of demands that CJP has for the government now, that the government can, consider, or it can also be a written assurance from the government side that they would like to give to CJP so that CJP representatives can go back to Jantar Mantar and discuss with founders, the founder of CJP and also the protesters who are there, whether those demands are acceptable to those people or not. So it remains to be seen. But, in just a few moments from now, there's going to be clarity on this particular issue. And there is a heavy police presence also in this particular area. A lot of media personnel also waiting, for them to really come out and give us a sense of what happened in this meeting. But this meeting is extremely important. One thing is positive here. At least there is a continuous channel of communication that was established a couple of days ago, and it's still happening. The other side is ready for talks. Government has been extending the olive branch for the last 2 days, but now with CJP agreeing to come, for talks is extremely positive. But whether the government will accept their final demand, which is of resignation of Dharmendra Pradhan, that remains to be seen. But clearly, there is a proposal, we can say a concrete proposal that the government had in this particular meeting, that it came to offer to representatives of CJP. Because like I said earlier, before this meeting, both these representatives of the government, Mr. JP Nadda and Dr. Jitendra Singh, had a meeting with Home Minister Amit Shah as well. They do not want this protest to escalate even any further. That's the reason why a lot of negotiations happened with Sonam Wangchuk as well, who eventually ended his hunger strike. Government wants to resolve this particular crisis, and that's the reason why this meeting took place at a neutral venue, that's right. Constitutional Club today. But we'll wait and see, Swati, what comes out of this particular meeting.
Absolutely. I mean, the piece of paper has to be really important since all four of them were posing holding that piece of paper. It's also quite possible, Hina, that there is perhaps a reiteration of what the government has done, the action that they are going to take, the big plan that we've been discussing. It's quite possible that the representatives of the government are taking CJP through that fast-track court, setting up a fast-track courts about making the law stringent and ensuring that this does not happen again. In case it happens, then the culprits will face stringent punishment. Maybe it's a reiteration of all of that. Because remember, the government hasn't said anything about the one and only demand on which the CJP and opposition has been adamant till now, which is Dharmendra Pradhan's resignation.
That's That's right. Whether the government is ready to bite that bullet or not, we don't know yet. But one thing is very clear, government wants this crisis to get over now. Monsoon session of Parliament started on Monday. Today is Friday. Both houses got adjourned once again. 5 days complete washout. Government has got some important bills that it wants to bring in this session of Parliament. It is, on the other hand, fighting with opposition also, because opposition has also associated itself with the protest of CJP, the Cockroach Janata Party. So on two fronts, government is battling right now. It wants to, end this particular crisis. That thing is absolutely clear. The intention is very much there. Otherwise, Prime Minister Modi himself would not have sent that midnight assurance to the future of this country, to the young people in this country who've been protesting since June this year. So intention is there. Government appears to be walking the talk as well. But whether this is going to be enough for CJP, whether this is going to be enough for the students, for hundreds and thousands of students protesting in different parts of the country today, some are here at Jantar Mantar as well, that remains to be seen. When it comes to dialogue, it is important for both sides to come to a common conclusion. Whether that has been reached here remains to be seen. Matter of just a few more moments now, Swati, and we'll get to know what really is happening. Like I've been saying since the beginning, this is a make or break meeting. Either things will escalate after this particular meeting, or
various meetings, one with the CJP representatives, the other was the cabinet meeting, Hina, and I have an update as far as the cabinet meeting is concerned. We're given to understand that an approval of the cabinet has been given to a complete overhaul and sweeping changes as far as that Unfair Means Act is concerned. Remember, the goal, the objective is to ensure that there's stringent punishment. Cabinet has approved the bill against paper leak. It's a draft bill at this point of time before it's introduced, tabled in the parliament, and this has happened hours after the Prime Minister's midnight message, in which the Prime Minister once again assured the youth of this country that we are going to take strict action and we are committed to that. Let's go across to Pragya for more on that. Yes, Pragya. Okay. I'm given to understand that we are trying to connect with Pragya to get us more details. Hina is reporting from Constitution Club, where that meeting with the CJP representatives is over. On the other hand, there's news coming in from the cabinet meeting as well that an approval has been given to the bill against paper leak, making it more stringent. Pragya, over to you. Tell us what has transpired in the cabinet meeting. Okay, we seem to be losing that line with Pragya. We'll connect with her again and get you more details. As of now, what we are reporting is the latest meeting with the CJP representatives is over. Soon, perhaps, we'll get to know what happened during that meeting. What did the government representatives say? What did CJP had to say about it? On the other hand, Cabinet has approved the bill against paper leak. The objective here is to make it even more stringent. And this has happened after Prime Minister's assurance that the government is committed. It is concerned about the youth's welfare and their future. Pragya, if you can hear me now, take us through what was discussed, the inside details as far as the cabinet meeting is concerned.
So, Ati, all we could get is that the bill has been approved by the cabinet and it is going to be presented in Parliament on Monday. Also, the provisions for penalties have been made very stricter, at least the minimum ones. The minimum duration of imprisonment has been increased, and so has the financial penalty. In addition to that, there have been fast-track courts. These fast-track courts will have to give decision within 3 months of the beginning of trial, and this is a big achievement also if it is implemented and passed in the Parliament, because then the justice will be done within 3 months. The trial begins. So these are a few of the details that we could gather that has been discussed in the cabinet, Swati.
Absolutely. Pragya, thank you for getting us those details. We're taking a very short break on the broadcast, but our continuous coverage will go on. In fact, Hina is joining us from outside the Constitution Club. Let me go across to her. Hina, Cabinet has given its approval. The bill will be tabled in Parliament on Monday. Like we've been discussing, since the government hasn't said anything about Dharmendra Pradhan's resignation, that leaves a lot of room and scope for speculation. One of that is that the government is trying to send out a message that, listen, we are going to focus on the core issue, the real issue here, which is reform that we are going to try and bring about through making this law stricter with stringent punishment, and also simultaneously hold talks.
That's right, Swati. You know, when this protest by CJP started in June, the core issue was NEET, paper leak. And somewhere in the middle, when politicians also started going to Jantar Mantar, many felt that maybe politics has started hijacking this particular movement. And then suddenly, instead of people talking about NEET paper leak, how to end that particular menace of paper leaks in India, the focus shifted to resignation of Education Minister Dharmendra Pradhan. Now, the entire focus has come to this one particular demand, which is being made by CJP and it is being made by the opposition as well, by Congress party specifically. Now, somewhere I feel that the main issue is not being looked at very seriously, which is a reform in the paper leak menace, the paper leak system in this particular country. Government, of course, has started doing what it can do. Many are saying that maybe the government should have done something like this when the protest started in the month of June. Now, it's very good to see that fast-track courts are going to be established. It's good to see that government wants to add more teeth to this anti-cheating law in this country by introducing the amendments in the current session of Parliament. It's wonderful, but many feel that maybe it's come a bit late. Maybe the government should have done something like this when the protest started itself. Nevertheless, now since the government has started doing all of these things, we'll have to wait and see whether CJP will agree to this. Because, like I said earlier also, when Sonam Wangchuk, the mascot of this particular protest, ended his hunger strike, he did not say anything about resignation of the education minister. For him, that's not important. For him, what is important is reform in the education sector, because it is about the demographic dividend that India talks about, the future of our country, the young people of our country, and they want an education system that is free of leak mafia. Swati, some activity is happening here, so I am just going to quickly focus on that, and it shows that the leaders are coming out. We'll also try and get in a word from the leaders here, but the meeting got over a couple of minutes ago. Now leaders, the representatives of CJP and the government are coming out. You can see the live visuals as well coming in. Whether they will speak with the media or not, it remains to be seen. We'll try and see. Okay, attempts are being made to listen to what they are saying, but the body language clearly shows that maybe things are moving in the positive direction, but we'll still wait for an official word from government or the CJP, the representatives of Cockroach Janata Party in this particular case. But there you can see the representatives of CJP coming out, and now the ministers, two representatives of the government will also be coming out very, very soon. We'll try and listen to what they have to say. Okay, Swati, we're just, trying to figure out what the representatives of CJP have to say. They're surrounded by media from all over the country, because remember, the paper leak issue and the protest by students has become a national issue, and there is a lot of interest in what really is happening. Let's listen into what is being said by the representatives of CJP.
Live visuals that Hina is getting for us. The meeting between the government and the CJP representatives is over. Everybody now on standby to know what transpired in the meeting, what is going to be the official statement from the government or from the CJP representatives in terms of, do we have a solution now to the issue? Is the protest going to end, or is the protest going to continue? Is CJP convinced? Are the representative convinced by what the government had to say? Was there a written assurance that was given to the CJP representatives? And if yes, what has been included in that? Because, before this meeting began, the government made its intent clear by saying that the laws are going to be made even more stringent. The term of punishment is going to be increased and the fine will also be increased. Now, We're talking about the Unfair Means Act. Let's listen in. For that briefing to take place. The meeting is over. We're waiting for the ministers to step out and also the representatives of the CJP to step out and talk to the media about what transpired in the meeting. Let me go across to Pragya. Pragya, we were just talking about the development in the cabinet meeting, the cabinet nod that has been given to the bill, which will be tabled in Parliament on Monday. And along with that, the meeting with the CJP representatives has also come to an end. Now, we are waiting to know what has transpired and whether or not this is going to resolve the issue. So live visuals, we're staying on with the live visuals from the Constitution Club, where that meeting between the government representatives JP Nadda, Jitendra Singh and CJP representatives Saurabh Das and Ashutosh Ranka took place. We are waiting to know what transpired in that meeting. This is a very, very crucial meeting, and the outcome of this will decide what transpired. Now, you see the visuals on the right side of your screen. They were holding a piece of paper that all four of them posed with it. It's also important to know what that is all about. Is that a assurance that has come in from the centre, a written assurance? And if yes, what has the centre guaranteed? What have they guaranteed in written to the CJP representatives, and whether or not they are convinced, or are they going to now go back to Jantar Mantar, discuss with other leaders of the Cockroach Janata Party and then take a decision on what their next step is going to be?
मीटिंग जो है वो नीचे है, थोड़ा ये पीछे सर, मीटिंग में क्या तय होगा, क्या चर्चा हुई आज आज हमें सरकार ने सेकेंड राउंड ऑफ टॉक के लिए बुलाया। हम लोगों की मांग थी कि मीटिंग हुआ था, 4 घंटे लग गए थे 10 मिनट का वार्तालाप करने के लिए, लेकिन इस बार कोई यहाँ पे जंतर मंतर में हमारी बातचीत आज हम यहाँ पे आए जेपी नड्डा जी एंड उनके साथ जो मिनिस्टर जितेंद्र सिंह जी है, दैनिक सवेरा भाई साहब, हमारे जो 3 मेन डिमांड है वो रखते हैं। धर्मेंद्र प्रधान जी का इस्तीफा जो नॉन नेगोशिएबल है, और रियाद धर्मेंद्र प्रधान जी का मंत्रिमंडल से उनको निकालना। नंबर 2, 1 करोड़ का कॉम्पनसेशन जो फैमिलीज है जिनके बच्चे नीट एस्पिरेंट सिस्टम की वजह से उन्होंने सुसाइड करके मर गए, उनके लिए 1 करोड़ का कॉम्पनसेशन। एंड नंबर 3, जो FIR फाइल हुए हैं, हमारे जानकारी के हिसाब से 11 FIR फाइल हुए हैं, उन 11 FIR की कॉपी हमें दे एंड उनको विड्रॉ करें, वो हमारा थर्ड मेन गारंटी है। एंड सिर्फ ये नहीं कि विड्रॉ करे, साथ साथ हमें प्रदर्शनकारी या ऑर्गेनाइजर के खिलाफ नहीं लगेगा। सरकार के गया है ये बोल बोला गया कि हमारी क्या हो रहा है भाई, और नंबर 3 डिमांड है कॉम्पनसेशन और FIR विड्रॉल और गारंटी का, उस पर सरकार पॉजिटिव है। सरकार की क्या बात है, सरकार क्या है कि कानून कैसे बदलने चाहिए, संस्थान जैसे NTA कैसे बदलने चाहिए, वो सजेशन भी हम लोगों ने उनको उस लेटर में अटैच करके दिया, जिसपे सरकार ने बोला कि वो सोच विचार करेंगी। लेकिन वो बात की बात है, जो हमारी मेन डिमांड है 3, उनमें से 2 डिमांड कॉम्पनसेशन और FIR का विड्रॉल और सॉवरेन गारंटी, उस पे सरकार पॉजिटिव है। और रिजाइन साथ हमने एक और चीज, रिजाइन का हम लोग बोल रहे हैं, साथ एक और चीज हुआ है, हम लोगों ने बोला कि दिल्ली पुलिस के द्वारा बहुत सारे यंग लड़के लड़कियां जो युवा है इस देश के, उनको कल रात से पूरे दिन और आज भी डिटेन किया जा रहा है कोई भी रीजन के बगैर। वो लोग जो जंतर मंतर से निकल के घर जा रहे हो, वो लोग जो जंतर मंतर के तरफ आ रहे हो, एंड वो लोग जो जैसे खाना पहुंचा रहे हो, ऐसे यंग लोगों को पुलिस चुन चुन के डिटेन कर रही है, लॉयर्स के साथ धक्का मुक्की कर रही है। जब हमने ये बताया सरकार को कि ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए क्योंकि ट्रस्ट डेफिसिट है लोगों के अंदर, उन्होंने बोला कि ऐसा कुछ तो नहीं हो रहा है, लेकिन अगर हो रहा है तो उन्होंने आश्वासन दिया है कि ऐसा नहीं होगा एंड दिल्ली पुलिस को वो बस बोलेंगे ऐसा नहीं करेंगे। अब हम बताएंगे कि क्या हुआ। धक्का मत मारो, धक्का मत मारो। सरकार से विस्तृत चर्चा हुई है। हमने सरकार को बहुत साफ शब्दों में ये बताया है कि धर्मेंद्र प्रधान जी के इस्तीफे क्या क्या करते उनकी कुछ भी मंजूर नहीं होगा। पूरे देश भर में समय जहां अलग अलग आंदोलन चल रहे हैं, पूरे देश के युवाओं में जो गुस्सा है, जो आक्रोश है, एक सेंटीमेंट है, वो बहुत क्लियर सेंटीमेंट है दैट धर्मेंद्र प्रधान हैज टू रिजाइन और ही नीड्स टू बी सैक्ड। सरकार से इस बारे में विस्तृत चर्चा हुई है। सरकार ने इस मुद्दे पर, इस पॉइंट पर जवाब देने के लिए कल दोपहर तक का समय मांगा है। हमने सरकार को बता दिया है कि पूरे देश भर में इस समय प्रदर्शन चल रहे हैं, जो प्रदर्शन बढ़ते जाएंगे, और अगर हमें जल्द ही धर्मेंद्र प्रधान का इस्तीफा या बर्खास्ती नहीं मिली तो ये प्रदर्शन और व्यापक होंगे और जल्द ही कॉकरोच जनता पार्टी को एक और नेशनल कॉल देना होगा। हम उम्मीद करते हैं कि सरकार जल्द से जल्द धर्मेंद्र प्रधान को बर्खास्त करेगी या वो इस्तीफा देंगे और इस मामले को हमें कंक्लूजन की ओर लेकर जा पाएंगे। आपने सरकार को कोई मोहलत दी है, टाइम दिया है क्या? टाइम दिया है क्या सरकार को रिजाइन के लिए, समय के लिए? सरकार ने कॉम्पनसेशन पे और लीगल केसेस पे इन प्रिंसिपल एग्रीमेंट जताया है, पॉजिटिव है। धर्मेंद्र प्रधान की रेजिग्नेशन को लेकर कल सरकार ने एक फिर से समय मांगा है। कल दिन में सरकार से फिर मुलाकात होगी और हमें उम्मीद है कि कल धर्मेंद्र प्रधान जी का इस्तीफा लिया जाएगा। हमने सरकार को बता दिया है कि ये आंदोलन बहुत बड़ा हो रहा है, नेशनली स्प्रेड हो रहा है, और जल्द ही अगर समाधान नहीं निकाला गया तो CJP को, अगर समाधान नहीं निकाला गया तो CJP को फिर से एक और नेशनल कॉल देना होगा। थैंक यू।
All right, so the big breaking news that we are getting, talks have remained inconclusive, but according to the CJP representatives, the government has agreed in principle. That's what we heard Ashutosh Ranka and Saurav Das say. They've agreed to demand number 2 and 3. Now, demand number 2 was a compensation to the families of the students who died by suicide, and demand number 3 was to withdraw the cases or the FIRs that have been registered against protesters. For those two demands, according to the CJP representatives, as of now, from what we heard, the government has given a positive indication. Bone of contention remains Dharmendra Pradhan's resignation. CJP reiterating that they've had a detailed discussion with the government on the issue of Dharmendra Pradhan's resignation, of him being sacked. No guarantees, no positive indication on that from the government as far as this meeting is concerned. Now, Saurav Das and Ashutosh Ranka also have said that the government has sought time till tomorrow afternoon. So it looks like there's going to be another round of talks tomorrow because the government has sought time till tomorrow to get back to CJP. CJP says government positive on 2 demands. Pragya is joining us with more details. So the government has agreed in principle as per CJP, Pragya. As per CJP, the government has agreed to demand number 2 and 3, which is compensation to the families of the students who died by suicide and withdrawal of the cases or the FIRs or legal action that has been taken. But bone of contention is Dharmendra Pradhan's resignation. All right, I think we are not able to establish that line, that connection with Pragya, but the big breaking news, the meeting with the government of the CJP representatives has ended. Round 2 is over. The talks have remained inconclusive. There is no outcome as far as the future of the protest is concerned. But the CJP representatives have said that they made it clear to the government, if you do not agree to resignation of Dharmendra Pradhan, then the protests will intensify. They'll give another call for a nationwide protest.
हमारी बातचीत हो आज हम लोग यहाँ पे आए हम लोग जेपी नड्डा जी एंड उनके साथ जो मिनिस्टर जितेंद्र सिंह जी है, दैनिक सवेरा भाई साहब, हमारे जो 3 मेन डिमांड है वो रखे। धर्मेंद्र प्रधान जी का इस्तीफा जो नॉन नेगोशिएबल है और या धर्मेंद्र प्रधान जी का मंत्रिमंडल से उनको निकालना। नंबर 2, 1 करोड़ का कॉम्पनसेशन फैमिलीज है जिनके बच्चे नीट एस्पिरेंट के सिस्टम की वजह से उन्होंने सुसाइड करके मर गए, उनके लिए 1 करोड़ का कॉम्पनसेशन। एंड नंबर 3, जो FIR फाइल हुए हैं, हमारी जानकारी के हिसाब से 11 FIR फाइल हुए हैं, उन 11 FIR की कॉपी हमें दे एंड उनको विड्रॉ करें। वो हमारा थर्ड मेन गारंटी है। एंड सिर्फ ये नहीं कि विड्रॉ करे, साथ साथ हमें सॉवरेन प्रदर्शनकारी या ऑर्गेनाइजर के खिलाफ नहीं लगेगा। सरकार क्या गया है ये बोला गया। हमारी क्या हो रहा है भाई, और नंबर 3 डिमांड है कॉम्पनसेशन और FIR विड्रॉल और गारंटी का, उस पर सरकार पॉजिटिव है। सरकार की क्या बात है? सरकार क्या है कि कानून कैसे बदलने चाहिए, संस्थान जैसे NTA कैसे बदलने चाहिए, वो सजेशन भी हम लोगों ने उनको उस लेटर में अटैच करके दिया, जिसमें सरकार ने बोला कि वो सोच विचार करेंगी। लेकिन वो बात की बात है, जो हमारी मेन डिमांड है 3, उनमें से 2 डिमांड कॉम्पनसेशन और FIR का विड्रॉल और सॉवरेन गारंटी, उस पे सरकार पॉजिटिव है। और रिजाइन साथ हमने एक और चीज, रिजाइन का हम लोग बोल रहे हैं, साथ एक और चीज हुआ है, हम लोगों ने बोला।
Let's go across to Bhavtosh, who's getting us more details. So the government has given its nod as per the CJP representatives when it comes to demand on compensation and withdrawal of cases or FIRs or the legal action that Delhi police has taken. But like I said, and the decisive point will be when a call is taken on the first demand, which is resignation of Dharmendra Pradhan. As per CJP, they've had a detailed discussion, only positive indication on demand 2 and demand 3.
Yes, Swati, as far as the demand 1 is concerned, that appears to be the sticking point, that is resignation of Dharmendra Pradhan. Remember, this all started when Abhijeet Dipke set up a satirical website or a website or one can say even a Twitter handle demanding resignation of Dharmendra Pradhan, and then it virtually became a movement. And we also what happened in the capital on Monday when there were clashes between police and protesters, with police using very heavy force and excessive high-handedness, which have been in fact panned by everyone, including opposition. The meeting lasted for nearly 1.5 hours, with government agreeing with two demands, that is demand number 2 and 3, compensation of 1 crore to the family of those who have died by suicide, and demand number 3, which was the withdrawal of all FIRs that were filed against peaceful protesters. Now it is demand number 1, that is Dharmendra Pradhan's resignation, that remains to be a sticking point.
Absolutely, that's the sticking point, and CJP says the government has sought time till tomorrow, so perhaps there'll be another round of talks tomorrow as well. We're taking a very short break, Bhavtosh. Stay on with us, our coverage continues on the other side as well.